Once upon a time, in a small village nestled by a lush forest and a flowing river, lived a young girl named Uju. Uju was an orphan, poor and lonely, but she had a heart full of hope and courage. Despite her hardship, she always found solace in the whispers of the river. Every day, Uju would sit by the riverbank, watching the water shimmer in the sunlight. The river was her friend, her confidant. One day, as she dipped her toes in the cool water, she heard a gentle voice. "Hello, Uju." The voice sang softly. Uju looked around, startled, and saw a beautiful mermaid emerging from the water. The mermaid had long, flowing hair adorned with pearls and scales that glistened like the stars. "Do not be afraid, dear Uju," the mermaid said with a warm smile. "I have watched over you for a long time. I see your kindness and bravery, and I want to help you." Uju was amazed. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling with excitement. "I am the guardian of this river," the mermaid replied. "I can grant you a wish, but remember, true happiness comes from within." Uju thought for a moment. "I wish to have a family," she said. The mermaid nodded and touched Uju's hand. Suddenly, a bright light enveloped them both. When the light faded, Uju found herself standing at the edge of the village. Before her stood a kind couple, looking at her with love in their eyes. Uju's life had changed dramatically since the mermaid granted her wish. She now lived with her loving adoptive parents, Kelechi and Nneka, in the heart of the village. However, the river still called to her, and she visited it often, remembering the magical encounter that had transformed her life. Every morning, Uju helped her new parents with the chores. She fetched water from the river, tended to the garden, and helped mother cook. She felt a deep sense of belonging, but she never forgot the mermaid's words about finding true happiness within herself. One day, a mysterious illness swept through the village. Many fell sick, including Kelechi and Nneka. Uju was terrified. She felt helpless as she watched her new parents suffer. Determined to help, Uju decided to seek the mermaid's guidance once more. She ran to the river, her heart pounded with hope and fear. Riverbank, Uju called out, the water shimmered, and the mermaid emerged. "I hear you plea, dear Uju," she said softly. "But remember, true strength lies within you. You must find the courage to seek the cure." The mermaid handed Uju a small tangled carved wooden box. "Inside this box is a clue. Follow it and you will find what you need." Uju opened the box to find a map and a small vessel of glowing liquid. The map showed a path through the forest to an ancient tree known as the Tree of Healing. With the vessel in her hand and the determination in her heart, Uju set off on her journey. She walked through dense forest, crossed streams, and climbed hills, all the while following the map's instructions. After a long and hard journey, Uju finally reached the Tree of Healing. It stood tall and majestic, its leaves glowing with a soft interior light. Uju approached the tree and used the vessel to collect some of the glowing sap. As she did, she felt a surge of energy and hope. With the vessel safely in her hands, Uju hurried back to the village. She administered the sap to her parents and the other villagers. Slowly, their hearts began to improve. The villagers were overjoyed and celebrated Uju's bravery. They danced and sang, praising her for her courage and determination. Uju's bravery and determination had saved her village. The villagers now looked up to her as a beacon of hope and courage. Life in the village returned to normal, and Uju continued to help her parents and visit the river often. Feeling grateful for the blessings of her life, the village was buzzing with excitement as they prepared for the annual harvest festival. Uju and her friends decorated the village with colorful clothes and flowers. The air was filled with a sound of laughter and music as everyone looked forward to the celebration. Uju couldn't wait to dance and celebrate with her family and friends. She wore a beautiful dress that Nneka had made for her, adorned with intricate beadwork and traditional patterns. The harvest festival began with a grand feast. The villagers gathered in the village square, enjoying delicious food and sharing stories. Uju's heart swelled with joy as she watched the smiling faces around her. As the sun set, a mysterious stranger arrived at the festival. This was an old man with a long beard and piercing eyes. He wore a cloak made of feathers and carried a staff adorned with charms and trinkets. The old man was welcomed by the village elders, who invited him to share his story. The stranger spoke of a great danger approaching the village, a powerful drought that would dry up the river and devastate their crops. The villagers were worried, but Uju felt a familiar sense of determination. She approached the old man and asked, "How can we stop this drought?" The old man looked at Uju and said, "There is a way, but it requires great bravery. You must journey to the mountain of storms and retrieve the crystal of rain. Only then can you save your village." With the support of her family and friends, Uju prepared for the journey. She packed provisions and took the map given to her by the old man. As she set off, the villagers cheered her on, their hopes resting on her shoulders. Uju's journey to the mountains of storm was filled with challenges. She crossed dangerous terrain, faced dangerous winds, and encountered wild animals. But she pressed on. Her determination was unwavering. After days of travel, Uju reached the mountains of storm. It loomed high into the dark, surrounded in dark clouds and lightning. She began her climb, the path steep and dangerous. At the summit, Uju found a cave where the crystal of rain was kept. Guiding the crystal was a majestic eagle with feathers as bright as the sun. The eagle spoke, "Only the pure of heart can take the crystal of rain." Uju stepped forward and spoke with sincerity. "I seek the crystal of rain to save my village from a terrible drought. Please grant me the chance to protect my home." The eagle nodded and allowed Uju to take the crystal. As she held it, the crystal began to glow, and a gentle rain started to fall. Uju felt a surge of hope and knew she had succeeded. With the crystal in her hand, Uju hurried back to her village. The rain followed her, and by the time she arrived, the river was flowing once more, and the crops were saved. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Uju's bravery. They danced and sang, grateful for the rain and the young girl who had brought it back to them. Uju's bravery had saved her village from the drought, and the villagers now celebrated her as their hero. Despite her achievement, Uju continued to lead a humble life, helping her parents and spending time by the river, where she often reflected on her journey. Life in the village had returned to its peaceful rhythm. The river flowed steadily, and the crops were lush and abundant. The villagers were grateful for Uju's courage and the blessings of the mermaid. Uju, now a young woman, continued to help her parents with daily chores. She fetched water from the river, tended to the garden, and helped prepare meals. She felt content and at peace with her life. One night, Uju had a vivid dream. The next day, as Uju went to the river, she noticed a dark cloud looming in distance. The air felt heavy. The birds were silent. She knew that danger was real and imminent. Uju gathered the villagers and told them about her dream and the mermaid's warning. "We must protect the river," she urged the villagers. Trusting Uju, agreed to help. Uju and the villagers prepared for the impending threat. They fortified the riverbank, gathered tools and weapons, and set up watchtowers to keep an eye on the dark cloud. The entire village worked together, united by a common goal. Uju felt a surge of pride and gratitude for her community. As the dark cloud approached, it revealed its true form, a swarm of dark, shadowy creatures led by an evil sorcerer. The sorcerer, with eyes glowing red, commanded the creature to attack the river. Uju stood at the forefront, her heart pounding with determination. She called out to the mermaid for strength and guidance. The villagers fought bravely, using their tools and weapons to fend off the shadowy creatures. Uju faced the sorcerer, who laughed threateningly. "You cannot stop me, girl," he insulted. As the battle raged on, the river began to glow. The mermaid emerged from the river. "Uju, use this," she said, handing Uju a sparkling clam shell. "It has the power to banish the darkness." With the clam shell in hand, Uju confronted the sorcerer. She blew into the shell, and a powerful bright light burst forth, engulfing the sorcerer and his creature. The darkness dissipated, and the village was once more safe. Life in the village had settled into a peaceful routine once more. Uju was admired by everyone for her bravery and wisdom. However, as her popularity grew, so did jealousy among some villagers. There was a woman named Adanna who had always been envious of Uju's courage and the love she received from the villagers. Adanna's jealousy grew with each passing day, and she began to plot against Uju. Adanna gathered a few like-minded villagers and whispered her plan to them. "Uju has too much power and influence," she said. "If we don't stop her, she will overshadow us all." Adanna decided to poison Uju. She baked a special cake and laced it with a deadly herb. With a fake smile, she presented the cake to Uju as a token of appreciation for all she had done for the village. Uju, unaware of Adanna's true intention, accepted the cake gratefully. She shared it with her family, but she herself took the first bite. Shortly after eating the cake, Uju fell gravely ill. Her parents and the villagers were distraught, unable to understand what has caused her sudden sickness. Adanna pretended to be concerned, helping to care for Uju while secretly feeling victorious. She thought she had finally rid herself of her rival. That night, Uju lay unconscious. The mermaid appeared in her dream. "Uju, you have been poisoned by someone jealous of you," she said. "Only the roots of the baobab tree can cure you." Uju, even in her weakness, heard the mermaid's voice. She whispered them to her parents, who immediately set out to find the baobab tree. Uju's parents, along with some loyal villagers, searched the forest for the baobab tree. The journey was long and hard, but they were determined to save Uju. Adanna, fearing her plot would be discovered, tried to mislead them, pointing them to the wrong direction. However, Uju's parents, loved and determined, guided them through. After days of searching, they found the baobab tree. They carefully dug up the roots and hurried back to the village. They prepared a portion from the roots and gave it to Uju. Slowly, she began to recover, much to the relief and joy of her family and the villagers. As Uju regained her strength, she remembered the mermaid's warning about jealousy. She confronted Adanna, who, under the pressure of Uju's unwavering gaze and the support of the villagers, confessed to her crime. The village elders decided that Adanna would be banished for her betrayal. The villagers, although saddened by her actions, agreed that such betrayal could not go unpunished. The villagers celebrated Uju's recovery with a grand feast, expressing their gratitude for her bravery and the wisdom of the mermaid. Uju stood by the river, feeling grateful for her life and the love of her family and friends. The mermaid appeared once more, saying, "You have faced jealousy and betrayal, Uju. Remember, true strength lies in forgiveness and resilience." Uju smiled, feeling a deeper understanding of human nature. She knew that no matter what challenge lay ahead, she would face them with courage, compassion, and the unwavering support of her community.